Hey guys, it is Friday here in West Virginia, so it's time for us to do our Free It Friday. And I know all week we've been cracking stuff open, so today's not really any different than the past couple of days, except today we have a mix of stuff that's all from Greenlight, but it's different types of cars. And it's not all lowriders. Actually, there is one lowrider, but it is a special one. It is the Queen. I should say, I was going to say the king of low riding, but it's the queen. And it is this one here, Gypsy Rose. This is the 64 Chevy Impala that was like the poster child of low riding back in the 60s and 70s in, I think, Los Angeles. And Greenlight did a great job capturing this car like this. I know Hot Wheels tried with theirs, but I don't know, theirs wasn't exact, but I don't think they were trying to make theirs exact either when they released their first 64 Impala Lowrider through RLC. But Greenlight was going after this look, and they nailed it. They did a fantastic job on it. And this is the Series 1, and this is the best car to start the Lowrider series with, is this one right here. Now, in this set, you had a 63 Impala, an 85 Chevy Caprice, an 87 Caprice, a 73 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and a 73 Cadillac Sedan de Ville. Greenlight does have some sharp-looking Caprices and Cadillacs, too. And their Impalas, they did a fantastic job on them. Let me go ahead and get this guy out and take a look at him. Now, if you compare this 64 to like the Revell lowriders, it's exactly the same size. Even the Hot Wheels RLC, which I was a little bit surprised, is exactly the same size too. And that's great, because if you want to have a diorama with all these lowriders in it, you can, because they all correspond greatly together. So as you can see, they got all the different color flowers on the roof, like the real car, and the inlays on the hood, the patterns, and the flowers in them, and then the other pattern on the side with flowers inside of it. Looks really cool. And then back in the 60s and 70s, well, I should say like the 60s and early 70s, the 5-spoke Supreme was the ultimate wheel to have in low riding. The wire wheels, I think, started becoming popular in the mid-70s. But yeah, this car here, it has the Supremes on it, which is a wheel that's very similar to Krager and the American, like, torque thrust style wheel. So, but the Supreme was the brand for low riding. Krager and American Racing were the brand for hot rodding and muscle cars. So, very cool car. Nothing opens on this. Oh, yeah, it does. I'm sorry. The hood does open. I made a liar out of myself. And as you can see, it's got the W head engine. So it's either got a 348 or a 409 in it. So that is very cool. Back 64, I think it wouldn't have had a 348. It would have been a 409 with a W head. And then if you didn't have the 409, you would have a small block 283 or 327. I think the 348 was only good up until maybe 61, something like that. I'm a little rusty on my Chevy facts. But anyways, yeah, you can see how well they did with the car. The grill is beautifully done. They nailed it with their front fenders and the trim. A lot of manufacturers, even Revell, did not get it perfect. And Revell's lowrider Impalas, they are very well done, but they still did not get the trim right on the 64. The trim is actually protruding from the fender on a Revell, whereas it should be recessed like this. So Greenlight has the best looking 64 in my opinion. You can see the tail light details very nicely done. It's hard to find the tail lights. They're kind of camouflaged with the flowers, so that's kind of cool. And you got your bench seat interior done in pink to represent what the original Gypsy Rose had, but the original Gypsy Rose, I think, had a lot more velour and plush stuff inside the interior. This is just pink based on a stock 63 interior. And this is number 8,819 of however many they made. But yeah, this is a pretty car. Glad to have this one to put in the Lowrider diorama. Even though it doesn't do anything, it's still cool. Now, number 2, we're going to do another Chevy. Actually, most of them today are Chevys. This is one of the latest releases of the Monte Carlo SS from Greenlight through a business called Midwest Diecast. And they had Greenlight make a couple different color Monte Carlo SS's for them. And this is based on the 85, but it's like a striped elite car. I know they had maroon ones, burgundy ones, and the stripes were on there, but you couldn't really see it, and they were kind of ghosted in. But this car has absolutely no stripes on it. Pretty cool car. Nothing really on the back of the package, just the big SS logo with Monte Carlo under it. And where to find Greenlight online and your different licensing stuff. So let's get him out and take a look at him. And I'm going to show you the reason I got this car. Because there are no late model, well, not late model, but the later 80s Monte Carlos with the SS nose, and I might as well just say an SS Monte Carlo Lowrider. So I went and got this guy so I could pull the wheels and tires off of it, which I've already got them loose so I could do this. And I have a set of Greenlight, or not Greenlight, I'm sorry, Auto World wire spokes, and they do need spacers on them to get the wheels to set outright with the offset. So I used a little straw and cut out the pieces. They're a little bit too big, obviously, but it still kind of does the trick. It gets the track pretty much right. But as you can see, they look good on the car. Like the Greenlight Breaking Bad Jesse Pinkman Monte Carlo, it should have had wheels like this because it was riding on like 13s or 14s, and the car that they made looks like it has 15-inch, maybe even bigger diameter wire spokes on it. So that's the one thing that I had against the Jesse Pinkman car, but it did look good in every other aspect, like the color. Even they did like a couple of the red details on the wheels, but they were not perfect, but at least they took that little bit of detail into account. But yeah, this car looks fantastic with these wheels on it. These wheels, as I said, are from Auto World. These are their typical Auto World lowrider wheel that comes on just about every lowrider that they make. This particular set came off of their gold Lincoln that they released not too long ago. So this car does look really cool with the wire spokes on it. So it will be going in the Lowrider diorama too. That's why I picked that one up. Now the third Chevy, and then we'll do one Mopar. The third Chevy is a 1968 Chevrolet COPO Camaro. And it is actually a Yanko Camaro, but they did not put Yanko on the package. You could see the Yanko emblem is there somewhere. I know I've seen it. Actually, yeah, it's on the rear panel. But this is a really cool car. The 68 had a really cool hood. It didn't have just a regular cowl hood like the 69s had. This one has a kind of like a Ram Air hood on it. As you can see with the scoops, the 67 and 68 Yanko both had that kind of hood. The 67 may have had a Stinger hood, but I think it had this one actually. I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of the 67 and 8 like supercars, the ones made by like Nicky and Dana, they had the Stinger style hood on them, but the Yanko had this kind of like a Ram Air looking hood, almost like a, I don't know, like a 90s WS6 Trans Am style scoop. It kind of looks like in a way. But this car looks very good in tuxedo black with the white stripe, and it does have the right wheel stance, everything. The Magnum 500s, that style wheel was on a car that they restored back in the 90s. I think it was Super Chevy Magazine. It was a dark blue 68, 67 or 68 Yanko. And it had the same hood, the stripe, everything. And it had these Magnum 500 style wheels on it. It looked really good. That's the car I remember for like a 68 or 67 Yanko COPO car. I'm trying to get the hood open, but I can't. I couldn't get it open before either. The Impala was giving me a hard time too, and it just kind of popped right open during the video, so that was cool. But yeah, I have a thing for these Yankos and any of the COPO cars from the late 60s from Chevy. So that's why I've been picking up a couple here and there when I find them for a reasonable price. I'm not going to go out of my way to collect them, but if I do find them, I'll grab them, especially if it's a cool color combo and such. There's some from Johnny Lightning, the Yankos and stuff, that are not that great, but there are some that are really cool. They do a great job on their 69 Camaro. The Johnny Lightning Yanko 69 is the best. Greenlight doesn't do so good with the casting of the 69, but they do a fantastic job with the 67, 68 style. So now for the last one. This is a fire department Dodge Monaco. And this is my first fire department Monaco in my collection. And it's based on a 76... Oh, it's a Plymouth Fury, sorry. But it's the same thing as a Dodge Monaco of that year. And it's from the East Brunswick, New Jersey, Old Bridge Volunteer Fire Department. So it says Old Bridge VOL, so Volunteer Fire Department. And it's also East Brunswick Fire District 1. And this is the Assistant Chief car. So pretty cool. I like the background, how it has the front doors of a fire department with the logo of a fire station. And this is from Series 4 Fire and Rescue. I didn't even know they had this series. I was just going after the car because I thought it looked really cool. But they have a lot of different vehicles in this series. In this particular Series 4 of Fire and Rescue, they have a 72 Ford F-250, the 76 Fury, an 85 Grand Fury, an 84 Chevy M1009. I don't even know what that is. I guess it would be based on a Chevy truck, maybe. And then the Chicago Fire 2016 Ford F-150 and the Mastic Beach, New York Volunteer Fire Department 2021 Chevy Tahoe. So, yeah, they have a lot of cool cars in this series. This will probably be the only one that I grab unless they relaunch another one of the late 70s B-bodies like this, the Fury Monaco Coronet style like this. I may grab them. The 80s one's okay. I have one that I grabbed from the True Romance movie, the Detroit Police one. It's all right, but I don't know. They were never like one of my favorite cars. But it's one of those ones that I seen on the peg, so I grabbed it. But this car here is pretty cool. I like collecting these old Monaco Furies. They're a fun car to collect. Especially with the lights and different paint jobs for different states and cities and stuff. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. It has a lot of nice details on it too. All the fire numbers and Assistant Chief on the back. And the grill detail on this one's really nicely done too. And these do have an opening hood. And they do have a detailed engine, but the engine is mammoth in this thing. I used to complain that they made the engines too narrow and too small in their late 60s second gen B-body like Chargers, and now I'm going to say that they're making the engines way too big for the late 70s B-bodies. So yeah, they have a problem with scaling their engines correctly. But anyways, good looking car, another Mopar to add with the other ones, and 3 great Chevys to add to the collection. So that's it for today, guys, and we will probably be back over the weekend, maybe to take a look at some more Lowriders or something. But if we're not back over the weekend, we'll definitely be back on Monday to do our Mopar Monday. I do have some stuff to take a look at, some M2 muscle cars from way back when M2 first started, and then also we have a new 596 Chrysler 300 to crack open for you. So maybe we'll do that on Monday. But we'll probably be back before Monday. Be sure to turn on your notification bell so you know when we do drop one of these spontaneous videos. And if you have not subscribed yet, please remember to do so. I appreciate each and every one of you who watch. And enjoy your weekend.